Hey, I'm T-Dub, and what we're looking at together is a magic traffic signal. Why is it a magic traffic signal? Well, in a few minutes, you'll find out how this magic traffic signal can win virtually any man's total devotion, and not only just commitment, but enthusiastic commitment to you and your future together. Whether you're still looking for Mr. Right, or maybe you found Mr. Right, but he's kicking and screaming along the path to becoming Mr. and Mrs. Right. When you watch this short presentation at the end, we're going to talk about the shortest path to a man's heart and the fastest way to get him to pop the question without manipulation, and definitely without ever having to be pushy or sacrifice your sense of identity trying to be somebody you're not just in order to please them. Watch this short video until the end and you'll discover the 3 supposedly good pieces of advice you absolutely must avoid to go from hello to I do, even when he says confusing stuff like I'm not ready. Just a wee bit of fair warning, I don't know how long this video will be online because I'm giving away so much free and hard to find relationship saving information. Plus, you'll notice I'm not hosting this on YouTube. I'm paying to stream this from my own pocket. So I may end up making this a paid presentation. So watch this now while it's still online and it's still free. Now, I know what you may be thinking. You may think, T-Dub, I've seen it and heard it all when it comes to advice on men and how they think. Yet I can guarantee you that you've never understood or seen inside a man as deeply or clearly as you're about to as I share these little known secrets about men with you. This is entirely different. It's nothing like the popular books on men you may have seen or even tried. So I'll bet you dollars to donuts you'll be shocked by what I reveal to you today. And please remember, what I'm sharing will finally allow you to start planning your life and your family without having to push him when he says things like, honey, I love you, but I'm not ready. And you'll get some of my best insights and secrets to make sure you get a sparkling ring on your finger so you can go out and proudly show it off to all your family and friends. First, I need to tell you a story. It's a story that's hard for me to tell because I get choked up. Yet, it's one I think you absolutely need to hear because it will reveal more about how you can avoid wasting years of your life by being able to accurately read what's going on in a man's mind more than anything else that I know. We got a deal? Now, I wasn't always a relationship expert, appearing on radio, thousands of websites and blogs, helping 65,000 plus people in over 77 countries with their toughest relationship troubles. And I certainly never imagined I'd be a best-selling author on the topic of fixing a relationship after someone had called it quits like I am today. In fact, far, far from it. I remember the day when I decided enough was enough, and I'm going to share this story with you now, even though it's really embarrassing for me to tell. You need to know just how deep in the rabbit hole I went before I discovered the stuff I'm going to share with you today. The strategy that allows me to live this amazing life that I live right now and help so many others find and keep love in their life. I remember the day so clearly. I remember I drove up the I-5 north from San Diego. It was a sunny Sunday afternoon in October. And I remember the sunshine because it was the exact opposite of how I was feeling. And in a few moments, I was going to absolutely devastate the woman I loved. I remember the warm, prickly rays of sun dancing on my arm while inside my soul cried over what I felt I absolutely had to do. 5 miles to go before I reach my girlfriend's exit. Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana starts playing on the radio. Oh geez, I think, why this song? The steel knife in my windpipe twists as Kurt sings the first line. I had to change stations. I can't take it. I fiddle back and forth with the knob. Doesn't matter what's playing. Music that day stung like a spritz of antiseptic on a freshly opened cut. I punched the power button, turned the radio off. For the first time in years, I've driven without the radio. Now, all I hear is my own breathing, the whoosh whoosh sound of blood pulsing in my ears. 2 miles to go. My heart pounds faster. How hard will she take it? She'll want to know why. Why? Here's her exit. Palms sweaty, my hands slip a little bit as I turn off the freeway. The traffic light's red. There's a relief for a few more seconds of peace before the storm. As the light turns green, I proceed. I can see my girlfriend's tan 6-story apartment building. There's less than a half a block now. I can't turn back now. I cannot turn back now, I repeat. I've been unfair to her and unfair to me for far too long already. I pull in. I park and I sit there with the engine off. It's deadly silent. If digital clocks could make noise, I'd hear it tick. 2:37 p.m. Now, I remember that time exactly because I sat there so long staring at those glowing green numbers, they felt etched into my eyes and head. As I open the car door to get out, I go numb. Not the pass-out numb. It's a familiar numb that I feel when I have to do something really hard or when an emergency strikes. I shut the door and start walking to the elevator. I'm moving on autopilot now. I sense everything, every small detail, but I move almost as if I'm being controlled, like a puppet on a string. I nudge the button for the elevator. Swish, as the doors glide open, the smell of a spicy Chinese takeout invade my nose. I suppose that someone just ordered lunch. I push the button for the 5th floor as I had hundreds of times before. This time was massively different, though. As I'm running over my mind what I'm going to say and do one last time, ding goes the bell. I'm here. I walk over to her door. I've got the keys and I usually let myself in, but given about what's going to happen, it doesn't feel right, like the right thing to do today. My knuckles make a rap, rap, rap as they hit the solid wood door. My numbness clears like a morning fog, and I can again feel that cold steel blade of anguish just twist in my throat again. She opens, and then it happened, and then I did it. After almost 4 years of being with Jessica, after 4 years of her patiently waiting on me to be ready to go to the next level in our relationship, I end it. As embarrassing as it is for me to tell you how I let down a woman who waited on me for 4 years, it gets worse. You see, about 2 weeks before I broke up with Jessica, I made the decision to move from San Diego to Arkansas to be with my family. I had stayed in San Diego after I got out of the Navy, but all of my family lived down south. As I was ending it with Jessica, my bags were already packed to leave. I was set to start driving the very next day. I started the breakup by telling Jessica I had made a decision to move to Arkansas. That was a bad move. She thought at first I was asking her to come with me, which made it even harder when I said, "No, Jess, I'm sorry, I'm breaking up with you." Her face puckered like I'd punched her in the stomach with a billy club. It was very sad. It was sad for Jess. It was sad for me. Even Jessica's black kitty, Penny, seemed upset, almost like she knew what was going on. And I did cry when I said goodbye to Jessica, and I remember my tears wetting Penny's black fur as I bent over and scratched her under the chin. It was going to be the last time. After I left Jessica's apartment, I remember feeling so disappointed and totally ashamed with myself. I was angry at how I let it end this way and how it handled all the last few years. I was really confused, too. I was confused because I could never explain to myself, let alone Jessica, why I could love her but not want to marry her. How could I love her so much and not want to marry her? I mean, isn't love supposed to be enough? What was wrong with me? I felt so low. Yet, you know what? That one day caused my entire life to change. It was that day that I made a vow. I vowed that no matter what it took, I was going to figure out how my own heart worked. What was holding me back from making a full commitment to love, to intimacy, and to marriage? I promised I would stop at nothing to figure out why I could feel real love and still not be ready. I'd read every book. If I had to, I'd interview and talk with hundreds of men who were having the same experience. I'd interview happily married men who found joy in commitment. I knew I'd never find long-lasting happiness if I didn't keep my vow. I was going to become a man capable of a fully committed relationship and marriage, or I was going to die trying. The good news for you is this. Not only did I figure out what was stopping me from becoming fully committed, what I call mental roadblocks, I discovered almost all men have these same mental roadblocks. These blocks stop them from moving relationships to the next level, regardless of how much attraction or how much love they feel. Now, some men have more mental roadblocks than others, but I've never met a man that didn't have at least some. What you may find really exciting is once a woman understands a man's mental roadblocks, removing them is easy once you know what to look for. Sadly, though, most women will never figure this out. I'm going to share my discovery with you in just a moment, so keep watching. So, as you can clearly see, I'm not some super brainy whiz kid PhD. I'm really a lot like you. I'm just an average person who just happened to go through hell, and because of my experience and through all of that pain, I discovered a blueprint. A system that finally allows women from all walks of life to turn the tables and enable their men to want to fully commit to the relationship and pursue the next level of intimacy all on their own without manipulation, being pushy, or playing hard to get. And that's whether your next level is getting him to notice you and ask you out, seeking more after your first few dates, or desiring to be in an exclusive relationship with you, to him taking you by surprise one evening, dropping on one knee and proposing. Whatever level your relationship is currently at, this pattern I discovered is so powerful that not only did I use it to change my life, that's me. Same girl for 16 years. We've been married for 13 years. She's the girl I married after I moved to Arkansas. And that's, hopefully you can tell that's me on the left. I'm the ex-commitment phobe, the guy in the tux. Now, I've taught my secrets to women in over 77 countries and moved thousands of relationships to the next level. And in many cases, even after the guy had bailed out of the relationship. Now, obviously, this new way of approaching your relationship with men where you get to enjoy him taking initiative and moving to the next level of intimacy changes lives. And I'll cover all the specifics and details in just a few minutes with you, so keep watching. First, you absolutely must be told the truth. You have to know the real problem, the real reason you're struggling with finding the intimacy you deserve today, and it will surprise you because it's the one thing that's been holding you back from experiencing the intimacy, support, and the joy of a fully committed relationship. And the reason why so many women feel they invest way more than they receive in a relationship. You see, the real problem is the fact that you've been taught myths and programmed to believe lies for years. And these myths and lies are keeping you from the relationship that you deserve. One of these lies is enough love is the only requirement to sustain a relationship. That if he loves you, he should be ready to move to the next level. And if he's not ready, he's just not that into you, they say. He doesn't truly love you enough. Or he's commitment phobic. I bet you've heard that one before. What's more damaging about this is after a woman is with so many commitment phobic men, she starts to feel like something is wrong with her. I bet you've heard or maybe even believe this at one point in your life, yet this is not even close to the truth. If you're one of the millions of women who fell victim to this lie, then you must decide now to believe the truth instead, because if you don't, you'll continue down the road of unfulfilling relationships, stuck in what I call a BTA relationship. That's a better than alone relationship. And you'll always be worrying that if you get too close, he'll start pulling away. And eventually, no matter how strong you are, you simply give up on the dream of a close relationship. You give up on the dream of marriage, and a complete family sounds like some kind of fantasy. Or you end up clinging to pseudo-love and intimacy, which end badly, painfully, and hurt a lot of children. Listen, this is not what I want for you, and I know it's not what you desire for yourself. And this is the reason that you're going to struggle to find lasting love. But I want you to know something. It's not your fault. If you really want someone to blame for your struggles with relationships, don't blame yourself. Blame the tabloids and the media, reality television, women's magazines, and you know what? Even songs we hear play over and over again, they're programming us to believe these lies and myths. You've been bombarded for years, almost as long as you've been alive, with false, misleading, and damaging myths and misinformation. And
for more information, click on the link below. For more information, click on the link below.